Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of NDISCO'S Village Meeting Podcast, where we talk about Africa, society, and culture, not only for those in diaspora, but also as these cultural aspects affect our people at the homestead. So we have been talking about several topics. And for this period, this harvest period, we are trying to touch bases with everything or most of the things that surround the harvest of our Hejoko, the welcoming of our king of crop in Igboland, the yam, and in some other many societies. And I have handled yam episode here on this podcast. And please, you can go back to the other 70 episodes that I have had in series 1 and 2 to look at that. Today, we are going into another aspect that during this Yam Festival, and I keep telling you guys that charity begins at home. So whatever I say to you about Africa, I start from the basics, from my own community. And those of you who know me know that I am, you call me fanatic of Mbaise Nation. I am. I'm not ashamed of that. Blame my parents and blame my community. And there is always a saying by, out there by people that once you are born in Mbaise, you want to be born in Mbaise again and then reincarnate. And I'm not the only one saying that. Ask my sisters and brothers, everybody will want to reincarnate in Mbaise, especially for those of us who are born, married, raised. And that tells you a lot about this community. So as we approach August 15th to enjoy the harvesting of this crop in way of thanksgiving to Almighty, to our ancestors, on another good year of harvest. We also look at the aspects that must be upheld. And today's topic is one very, very big one that without which we don't step forward into the ceremony or into the rituals. Now, this particular topic has been handled also in, I think, episode 2 or 3 of series 2, details about this particular topic of Oji. But today, again, the question we're asking, are we doing right by the African Kolanut today? And the biggest reason why I ask this is that we talk about our culture, our perpetuation of our culture, our handing all these down to our young ones, the generation next. But the question is, are we doing it right by them today? Are we mixing up our cultures with other people's culture? Are there items that we are leaving behind that should be part of this, no matter where the environment or what environment we are growing up in as children, boys and girls? So what I am always advocating for is ensuring the handing down correctly to this generation. I don't know it all. I do a deep research into what should be. But the good thing is that even in our midst, and I always tell people, Mbaise Mado, which means we have talented and diverse talents and brains. We have one today. And sometimes we are lucky to tap into those who really know. And I couldn't do justice to this without inviting somebody who knows this topic in and out. And he will be able to help us navigate that muddy waters of blessing the Kolanut or selling the Kolanut in Mbaise and Igboland, for that matter. He published a book on the topic titled African Kolanut Custom. and it is really, really a great one. Um, Dr. Amam Acholonu is my special guest today. Um, I call him Dede, and you guys know that in Mbaise, um, we call Dede or Dada, and that is the biggest respect you can give to anybody. So you will hear me today interchanging between Dr. Acholonu and Dede, mostly Dede. And let us know a little bit about him. He, I have mentioned, is the author of this book, African Kolanut Custom. And this book aims to introduce the Kolanut rights of the Igbo people to international community. He is obtained his education, his Master's of Science um, uh, in, in, um, in urban and regional planning from the Ahmadu Bello University, Nigeria, and also at the University of Lagos, obtained another professional degree in urban education and leadership. He writes and maintains popular column in Nigerian's media, the leader in particular, which he calls Echoes from Abroad. His dominant interests in life are writing and family. And he and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Margaret Acholonu, served as regional secretary couple for Africa in the International Confederation for Christian Families, ICCFM, and participated in the family conventions held in Rome, Chicago, USA, Manila, and Spain before his family moved to the USA in 1994. Again, he is really very, very grounded in all that he does. Um, he was also a consultant in behavior and rehabilitation and was with the Nigerian Institute for Social and Economic Research at the University of Ibadan, where he worked with environmental planning team that produced feasibility studies and design for Nigeria's iron and steel town of Ajaokuta and the federal capital city of Abuja. And, above all, he played leading roles in Zaria City and Owerri Capital City master plans, as well as the World Bank Urban Development Project in the state of Nigeria, over uh, encompassing Owerri, Aba, and Umuahia sites. So we cannot, because of time, say too much about um, Dedem, because he has accomplished so much in life, retired now, but not tired. He has so much wisdom we have to tap into. Now, about his book that we are going to talk about today, I will really quote for you two schools of thought or two thought leaders that talked about those. And one of them is another son of the soil who is late now. Um, let Chief I.D. Wogha, OFR, sorry, Chairman Imo State Council of Elders over in Nigeria, had this to say about the African Kolanut Custom book written by Dr. Amam Acholonu. And I quote, Kolanut is the heart and center of Igbo hospitality. The importance of Kolanut custom is demonstrated by degree of offense shown by affected persons when aspects of individual recognition are breached. Yet, with the appropriate words and attitude, reconciliation follows quickly. All these have been captured by Amam Acholonu in his latest book. And I also have another quote from Dr. Celestine Ebebulem, who, in summary, um, thought that one aspect of Igbo Kolanut ceremony, much misunderstood, is the role played by women. And the author, Dr. Mama Acholonu, has offered in-depth explanation about it. I hope that especially in Igboland, it becomes required reading in schools, and unquote. So this book was published in January 2012. Without much ado, Dedem, are you there?
Yeah, Igboland, she made a touch of how I collected that matter.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. The first encounter I know my first encounter was with Professor M.OPARAOJI, who you really love as a son, and that love, transferred down to me, and the way you welcome us into your midst, warms the heart. But for me, particularly, when I wrote my book,
a wonderful, lovable man, Eddie.
Thank you, sir. For me, I really got into tapping into your expertise when I wrote my book, Raising an African Child in America, from the perspective of an immigrant mother. You were, if not the only one, I showed my transcript. And I don't know why I did that, but I had the feeling that you will give me the clearest opinion without minced words. And you did. And I am so grateful for that. You took the time and went through each line and gave me your opinion. And then I went ahead to expand on the thoughts. And that's that little book. Yes.
You did a great job in that book.
You don't know how I appreciate that. One of the things you told me at the end was, you with all the chapters that I have, each chapter represents a new book that can be written. You called it M.OPARAOJI. I didn't recognize that till I started delving into that. And
you read very many issues of research in that book.
Yes.
And I want the young girls, young boys to look at it to get and continue from where you stop.
Yes, one of the things I wanted to share with you before I hand over the floor to you is it might make you happy to hear that little book that one can finish in a day is now being used by higher institutions of learning here in the U.S. As a resource for students in African American studies, and a lot of people writing doctorate dissertations and master's programs, thesis, have cited this little book, and I cannot thank you enough for that, for being there for me.
Where there's good thing, those knowledgeable people, research hunters will discover it.
Thank you, sir. Now, on to where we are today. This is what we're talking about, especially for the young ones who don't know what I'm talking about, Kolanut. Some of them have never seen Kolanuts. But this is why I do what I do, to see what it is. Here it is on the left picture, still in the pod. Okay, it grows on trees, like you guys know. When you open the pod in the second picture, that's what it looks like. Before, when you peel off, also, it comes in a lot of coatings. You'll find different types on the right. And if you go to episode 2, series 2, like I said, you'll find a lot more about this orgy. But here are the questions we have for Dede today. And you can decide, Dede, to do all these questions or none, or focus on one. I just put my thoughts here to just help out. This is where I leave the floor to you. How have you found us mishandling the Kolanut when we're selling it, or what are the improper ways you've seen people breaking Kolanuts? How have we misused the Kolanut in inappropriate or casual settings? Have you observed us ignoring hierarchical traditions when presenting Kolanuts? How about the respect for elders who are the elders, and any other thought you may have? So I leave the floor to you now, sir. Please help me welcome Dr. Amam Acholonu.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
You are doing a very wonderful work. I must start from there.
Thank you, sir.
And I thank God we have somebody like you.
Thank you, sir.
This work will go places, not only now, but in future.
Amen.
There are so many things we can say about mishandling Kolanut. If I refer first of all to my main source, my father, Amam Acholonu. He was the Ojiofor of my community. Ojiofor means custodian of traditional symbol of justice, truth, and equity. The custodian of that symbol called Ofo. And not everybody can handle it, not even touch it, because there was nothing like competing. That title is conferred to somebody selected both by the people and the gods themselves, ancestors, who can wordly proclaim the truth, whether there is death or danger. He never feared when he was professing the truth. If you asked him, if he rose up today, you ask him, where are people mishandling Kolanut? His answer is not what I'll say. He will tell you, people here are now using the inappropriate Kolanut called Goro to do libations. What is Goro? There are two species of Kolanut in Nigeria or Africa. One of them, the Igbo Kolanut, is Igbo, planted, grown, and found only in Igboland. The next one is found in many parts of West Africa, starting from the Yoruba land to northern parts, mid-belt. That one, they call it Guro, G-U-R-O, or in Igbo was Goro, G-W-O-R-O. Not long ago, a boy asked me what is the difference. Is it their color? Is it their size? They say the Goro is larger in size and Igbo is smaller and all that. I said, no, differences are not measured by size. Even small men can be more intelligent than huge men. So the difference between the two is in their nature, original nature.
Okay.
The Guro Kolanut, the Goro, has only two lobes, cotyledons.
Okay.
When you break it, you get only two of them. The Igbo Kolanut has more than two, always from 3 to as many as 8. The larger the number, the more appreciated it is, the more value it has for cultural analysis.
Okay.
So that one, you can't make a mistake whether you are sleeping, you are not looking at the color. You break it, if it is only 2, that's Goro. If it is more than 2, that's Igbo Kolanut. And permanently what God made, it remains like that. The best of the Igbo Kolanut when broken is the one that gives you 8 lobes or 7 lobes. That is one of the areas where Igbo people are said to be related to the Jews. For the Jewish man, the number 8 is a perfect number. The number 7 is a blessed number in the Bible. For the Igbo man, the same. The number 8 represents the Igbo full week of 8 days, in which all the gods of Igbo land are represented for honor. So let's leave that. My father would tell you that any libation, any consecration made with any kolanut that is not an Igbo kolanut is void. Unfortunately today, 98% of all the kolanut we see along the coast of West Africa is the Goro, and less than 2% is Igbo kolanut. That's the first clear call. The first clear call. People should start planting before it gets extinct. I don't know whether we shall continue celebrating the kolanut if it gets, the Igbo kolanut gets extinct, because there's a lot to say about the number and the implications. Each number means not something. You will never find an Igbo Kolanut containing only two lobes.
I have a clarifying question for you. Forgive me for interrupting. Sometimes I have to clarify
Go
because
ahead.
I'm
Remember
yes.
what to ask.
When you say Ojibo, when it must be presented, is it only in Igbo land, or if we are presenting a color somewhere outside Igbo land to other people, should it still continue to be Ojibo? In other words, are we presenting what we know to others, or when we are in the north, for example, presenting Kolanut, Boro is acceptable? Please clarify that.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. That's why I said that if you asked my father this same question, he will tell you straight away that what they are doing now is null and void because they are using non-Igbo Kolanuts.
Okay.
But now we use all of them because the nature, the taste, the ingredients, the scientific composition of every Kolanut is the same, the alkaline that they contain. But the species changes with Ojibo, which has 8 lobes, up to 8 lobes, and never 2 lobes alone. It has cotyledons joined together with themselves, nothing foreign, together. The Goro, which is only 2, is larger in population. If you don't use it, I don't know whether you will have enough for many parts of the world where it goes now. It has got visa to go everywhere in America here, London, different parts of the world, along with a few Ojibo, which follow it. First call I shall make to all Igbo hearers is our Kolanut is getting extinct if you don't start planting it. Even though it costs a lot, if you get 4 Ojibo, you can sell it $8. Whereas you can get 8 Ojibo and sell it $1.
So your recommendation, so your recommendation would be something like Mbaise coming up on the 15th. They should endeavor to find Ojibo and not using Goro.
Without telling them that's what you can't find any SAG man. He'll tell you they're going to use Ojibo.
Okay, awesome.
That's insisting tenaciously in that belief that Ojibo is the one that represents a family celebration. The cotyledons are regarded as a family joined together.
Okay.
That's why the climax concept of celebration of Oji is celebration of persons joined together, unity.
Okay.
So Mbaise people definitely cannot raise any Kolanut that is not Ojibo to say the prayers. They may have other Kolanuts to increase the quantity that can be eaten, but for the consecration, find out. They'll tell you they will only use Ojibo for it.
And this is recommended for all Igbo, on all the communities in Igbo land. It's recommended that when they present Kolanuts, it should be Ojibo. Whether you are from Anambra or from, the last, I don't know which states. I think we have about 8 of them, or five concrete states in Igbo land, and counting.
All of them that are Igbo, yes. All of them up to now really in their heart appreciate Ojibo. But Ojibo is rapidly getting extinct.
Okay.
The number, look at 98% the other one and less than 2% the Ojibo. So that's a clear call. Otherwise, when we don't have it, we have to be using the one that doesn't represent the family. I'm not saying that you must, but you have to do something to keep it. Because the one we celebrate is the Ojibo, containing sometimes up to 8 loves, representing a family and the unity of nations. So from there, let's go on then. We shall be looking at some mishandling in detail, but I'm trying to emphasize that if my father was here, he would say all that we're doing already, we're mishandling it because we are dominantly using what is not Ojibo, to do our celebrations. But
Okay,
I don't
that's
mind
one.
myself.
Okay.
So from there we go. The Kolanut is a sacred nut, as I said, sacred because of its nature. There are so many lobes up to 8, nothing is taken from outside to join them. From their own bodies, they unite at a central point that forms the taproot when it is planted. That point contains all parts of the lobes. And if you plant it, that's a point that plume that grows up or downwards as the taproot.
Okay.
That's wonderful, continuing the unity into one. So that creates a lot of representation of nature, creation, spirit, unity, common purpose. They live together and die together. We shall look at that. That's the detail. That's why I say, but in the real detailed study of Kolanut, where all the lobes have their names and meaning, where each one can be, a story can be told about each one. Then what do you do with the 2 lobe Kolanut? It will contain all of them. You'll be telling a story that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So Ojibo is what we are talking of now.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to
right.
celebrate, use Ojibo.
Okay.
If you want to chew so that many can chew, add a lot of goro in it, because Ojibo wouldn't be enough.
Okay, so in breaking of the Kolanut, so now we get together. I have seen, I don't know if I shared with you that I am a student of that cultural aspect, and I always tell people where my father stopped before exiting this world a little bit early. I picked up from my father-in-law, who is also an Eze of the community. And I learned some things because I would just watch and ask questions. He would always give you ready answers. And I would from there learn that some of the times I watch our men break the Kolanut, they don't do it right in diaspora and even at home. What are we missing? Some of them I could, as a woman, say, hey, that's not the way it goes. Um, especially in the Mbaise community. Is there are there guidelines to sell? I know you have this in your book. Can you give us a summary of, if from my house we present the Kolanut, who do we present that to? I know we have Mbaise five communities or 5 clans, like people say. Could you talk on those aspects, please, sir?
Yeah, my studies, which my father didn't go through, has taught me to explain things scientifically so that there will be no confusion. Like when I told the person who asked me the difference between Ojibo and other Kolanuts, is it color, is it size? I said those things are variables. They change. They can change even from the soil. A very fertile soil can make a Kolanut grow very big nuts, whereas very unfertile dry soil can reduce the size of Kolanuts to very small sizes because they didn't have enough water when they were growing. Agriculturists would say that is true. Yeah. So the thing that I believe should matter in the presentation of the Kolanut is the principle of consanguinary blood relationship.
Blood relationship.
Yes, the Igbo man says the hand grew out of the body. It didn't come from outside and attach to the human body.
Okay.
Aka Sinango, for
yes,
the person presenting the Kolanut starts from the known, those he knows, neighbors, brothers, sisters, and goes out. to others,
Okay.
from the
Okay.
known to the unknown. When extended beyond the known, you can go to neighborhoods. Because they say, whoever is your neighbor is your brother. So you have those two principles. Presenting the kolanut to start from the nearest person by blood relation. If he's your brother, you call on him. If he lives around you, you show it to him before you go to the other people. Whatever action you want to do, you recognize the neighbors, the relations, geographical neighborhood or sanguinary, blood neighborhood.
Okay.
Those guide you, and then you will make a mistake. Like in Mbaise, if somebody from my house is presenting a kolanut, if he's from the part of Ayazu called Ikwerazụ,
Okay.
he will show it to the part of Ayazu called Ahera before he can go into any other part of Mbaise. The same thing, if the kolanut is originating from Ahera and he wants to present it to Mbaise people, he will look around and find his brother from Ayazu, from Ikwerazụ, and shows the kolanut to him, who will help him go forward to the rest of Mbaise. I don't know whether I'm making sense.
You are making sense, sir. So the question I have in that follow-up is, if there are two or more people, say Ahana is presenting the kolanut to Ikwerazụ, and there are 2 or 3 more people of Ahana origin or birth there, are they supposed to all handle, say, John?
Yes, I understand your question.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, before they give it to, or just show them, like to show kind of thing.
Yes, this is one of the problems. Boys who are organizing things and wish to keep strict to time request the person at the chairman of the occasion to please reduce the time they spend on presenting or handling kolanut. It depends on the circumstances. If the people have a lot of time to stay, make jokes and laugh, it can start rigmaroling around an area, but it's not recommended.
Okay.
With your brothers, you call their name. You see the call I have. I'm now taking our in-laws to Ahena. If you are talking from Ikwerazụ. So you don't need to give it to them to touch. You call their attention to it. The attention calling is very important because it removes a mistake called presenting mute, M-U-T-E, mute kolanut, the kolanut that is not talking. A kolanut, it is said that a kolanut talks. It doesn't move silently. The talking is, hey, everybody here, please stop talking. I now have the kolanut from the host. That you are talking for the kolanut. Is the most important activity, and therefore is not done in secret. While it is not done in secret, you cannot pass it, everybody touching it. Call some attention, they may be very far away, which takes another time to walk through crowded chairs to hand it to him. You call his attention. John, I'm now having the kolanut from the host, and I want to go to our in-laws, our brothers, our neighbors in Ahera. This is a man talking from Ikwerazụ. His voice does it.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I think you are hitting the nail on the head.
And that
for
is,
those of you,
that is what I referred to, that when a person's personality is ignored, that there's a lot of confusion, people get very annoyed. He will say, I'm so small that you didn't notice that I'm here.
Yes.
You didn't show it to me because you don't respect me and all that. You have to beg the person and calm him down.
And the onus is also on people present, because somebody who has the kolanut in their hands may not know that, okay, this person is, if they're presenting from Ikwerazụ, that this person in our midst is also Ikwerazụ. The onus is on everybody in order to make the orgy smooth, selling smooth.
Yeah, correct.
Emeka will say to Owonna, oh, don't forget, Njoko here. he's also one of us. And the person selling will say, oh, Wanna, some things like that, because that creates a lot of problems. Like, oh, you forgot me, like you said. That should be taken into cognizance. Okay.
Yeah, correct. That nobody presents cola mute quietly without saying what he's doing. You have to call people's name if they are very far away, get their attention, get their cooperation. They feel respected and equally honored and not ignored.
Now, in the fold of 5, say now again, I go to Mbaise where the 5 clans are together, and not necessarily going to call everybody by name because that would take a whole day, like you said. Is there a hierarchy here? Who said the Kolanut comes from Ahana? Ahana gives to Equirazo. Who is next? Is that Abaja, or is it Abo, or
Yes.
isn't it? How does that go down the line? Is that necessary?
Well, if it is as it is in Mbaise,
Yes.
you only want to move it into 5 zones.
Okay.
You will not reduce it to other smaller zones. One man from one zone represents all the people from his zone. And
I
that is
see.
why it is necessary to look at more elderly people.
Okay.
Nowadays, many young boys grow beard with heavy black beard or white beard, use color. It's easy for a man to make a mistake and
Yes.
take the color not to give it to a very young boy who is even capable of being a son of
Yes.
a person who came with him. The Kolanut does not watch out to catch people make mistakes.
Yes.
You can ask, hey, these are happening. You people look the same. Who is your brother? Who's your most senior brother over here? Make the
Yes.
joke. You are not
Yes.
being hateful. Nobody will laugh you for that, laugh at you. The people welcome you because the purpose is for everybody finally to celebrate, pray together, unite, and move ahead to other things. Nobody is watching out for people to make mistakes.
Yes.
But when you pretend that you know it all and make a mistake, people want you to be, anybody who raises himself too high should be brought down. Then he realizes he doesn't know everything.
I
So
see.
the humility is required, there's humility required. Asking, hey, I hear people, people look the same. Who is your most senior brother here? If you don't know, they will tell you the person and they say, I didn't know now. Yeah, the caller comes to your people.
I
See your
see.
brother before you move. You can even hint to him where he goes next. If it's like somebody who has been traveling, like those of us here in America who may not follow the details at home. You make a joke and ask somebody that the blind man wants to know where he's going. Everybody
Yes.
will laugh. But when you pretend that you know it and throw it to the person who is not the right person, they echo laughter, which may offend you.
I am glad you're saying that because I've seen that happen. And one of the reasons why somebody asked me, why are you doing all this? I've said, I'm not making any money out of it. I'm not, but I cringe when I am in the community setting and I see these kind of things going on. And the younger ones may not. And that's why I'm so grateful to have you. At least they can listen to your voice because they are all digital now and know how, because they are not present most of the time, these young ones or next generation. You have your grandson there now helping. If you ask him now, okay, do you go where your dad or other grown-ups sell this cola nut? Most of them are not present there.
And when they
And
are there, they wouldn't know what they are doing if they didn't ask.
they didn't ask, but their parents, that is part of raising them, to take them. And I was putting that the other day in one of my episodes to say, if you go home to Nigeria, especially those in diaspora with your young sons, even if they have reached 10, 12, take them to Awurawo to listen
Yeah,
to what's going on. Take them to events to see how cola nuts are being
yes.
passed and other issues. So that's what the next question I have for you is. Now, in the gathering, you mentioned elders. This Kolanut selling, like we call it in quotation, in quotes, selling, Iroji is going on. We call it also presentation. And
Yes.
there are people there who are like titled, but you have somebody who is older than this titled person. For example, there's an Eze, but he's not the eldest, but he's a title. Is there a ceremony about Oji being presented to the title than to the age?
No age takes superiority over everything.
Oh, really?
But when a social gathering is being performed anywhere, because the titled men are showing a lot more economic prestige, more outstanding, maybe many of them are more traveled than they say. The tendency, as I said, is for things to reach them first. But is their function to turn around? Like my son can be a titled man, but I'm still alive.
Yes.
It's their duty, because everybody that is there wouldn't even know that the less well-dressed human being on a local chair is the father of the Eze. There's
Yes.
a turn around before he moves to the sky with whatever he has to tell his father or his uncle, who is older than he is, this people give me cola. Do I go forward with it? And he said, go ahead, my son. May God bless you. He doesn't refuse that request, but he gets annoyed when you pass it around him as if he's dead already. He doesn't take it kindly at all.
Nobody would, because it makes common sense.
Yes.
Because in that means some people don't know that, especially in the US, when people, come over here, they
Yes.
travel and come over, and people don't know what their titles are or whatever. In a group,
Yes.
it's the onus is on somebody who knows to,
To recognize.
secretly,
Yes.
yes, and tell the person, please, we have this titled person, we have an Eze here, or we have this elder here who is not
Yes.
an Eze, but he's old enough to be everybody's grandpa or grandpa, and then they give the respect.
As I said, it's not a witch hunt trying to catch out people who make mistakes.
Yes.
There is room for expo report alert when you see the person carrying the Kolanut and is moving towards a direction you suspect is going to make a mistake. You tell him, hi, look behind you. That man, I think, is a desert. Have you seen your uncle before you go out? Receive it. They make jokes. Then he goes back. Those who know that the young man didn't know it will laugh. And it's a softer embarrassment than when you carry it and go home, hand it to the wrong person. People may say you have to bring that money you have and make apology. And when they say it, they may mean it. And wherever you take it, they may win the case. That's where some people are making one of the worst mistakes of today. When they are doing Kolanut ceremony, they make a mistake that can be corrected on the spot. Some of them I hear have gone to court. You go to a court where an ignorant judge of the United States, you don't know what they are doing.
So
He will only be looking for insult. That did he beat you? Did he curse you? Those are not the things. Nobody curses his neighbor in such things. You say he didn't give you Kolanut. The judge will not understand what you mean by he didn't give you.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we want to tell the youths, that you don't carry problem or tradition to international litigations.
Yes. Yes.
Igbos and the Yorubas, Nigerians, Africans should be having Elders Council. You mentioned Idimoga, chairman of the Council of Elders.
Yes.
Wherever they go, I recommend they have Council of Elders, 3 or 4 people, or many, there are very many, representing different zones, to whom such disagreements are taken, and then they sort it out and tell people the right thing to do. And there will be
Yes.
no more banker again.
Yeah.
But to take our cultural disagreements to foreign dominated or represented cause is making a greater mess than the mistake itself.
I agree. And some of these are really fun times because when you see that banter, when you listen to that banter, observe that banter during this selling of Kolanut, nobody's above mistakes. It's, oh, I
Yeah,
missed it. But you see
yeah,
people, some people are afraid to even attempt because they don't want to, mess something up. But that is how we learn, by mistakes.
yeah,
Having at the back of your mind that there is always the next brother or somebody who is even mischievous trying to
yes,
call you on it. They're not trying to make a mess of. Even if they do, you're learning your lessons for the
yes.
next time
That's why I
to
said
know.
in the traditional setup, it's not a witch hunt, everybody trying to catch another person, make a mistake. No, it's
Yes.
taken softly. You can make
Ah,
a joke of it. Now you are walking like you are not seeing the ants below you. Remember, you
okay.
must pass through the elders. Don't go
So
too far.
okay. So in that sequence also, we are saying, and I need you to confirm if this is right or wrong, that when you are an Mbaise person, and with today, we're not excluding any other Igbo land OG sales in quotation event. Please, for the young ones, I always ask you to ask the questions in your own community. How is this done? Because there's
Yeah.
no way I will talk about every community, whether in Olu, whether in Njaba or in Enugu State. There are
No.
always ways they sell their own or present their own kola nuts. Ask about those. So I'm
Yes.
using this as an example. So what I'm hearing from you, Dede, is that when an NBC person is selling the kola nut or presenting the kola nut all over the world, even if they are in Iceland, there is one stated guideline for the Mbiseans. Am I correct?
Well, it's for also they said OJI,
Yes.
Omenala Bikotara Igbo, a
Yes.
custom that unites Igbos. There
Yes.
are central common practices. All Igbos respect elders. All Igbos give kola nut as a sign of hospitality, friendship, unity. When you eat together like the Jews,
Mhm.
Christ described uh, the person who betrayed him as the person who ate from the same dish with him.
Mm.
The kola nut is a sign of trust of each other, eating common kola nut. Nobody has any animosity against his neighbor. So when that type of concept passes through, goes through all communities of Igbo land, then the smaller aspects like whom do you give the kola nut when you're passing it around? Some parts of Igbo say you give it to the younger person so that he can pass it to the elder, if possible, kneeling down. And then
Ah,
they are moving up the ladder. In
yes.
some other areas, they say you give it to the elder who will then give it to his younger brothers. The
Ah,
concept is that everybody is respected, whether you are kneeling down to give it or you're giving it from the senior to the junior or from the junior to the senior. Those other little elements should not constitute a deviation.
okay.
What is central is the aspect of respecting everybody.
Ah,
You can respect from a junior towards a senior or from the senior towards the junior. The central concept, the central concern is respect.
okay.
Nobody should disregard it,
Okay.
not how you respected people.
Okay.
But there are a few things that are central, like when we start looking at some of the mistakes in passing around kola nut,
Mhm.
nobody, whether a bigger man, a smaller man, a richer man, a poorer man, an older man, a younger man, nobody gives kola nut to another person with the left hand.
Aha.
And nobody accepts it when it is being given to you with the left hand. Why? The Igbos believe that left hand is a sign of disregarding another person. You don't care. He wants nothing, so you can accept things from him with a left hand. So these are areas that are central. It doesn't matter whether you're Mbaise or Olo. Some aspects of the Kolanut are central and common. Some are by orientations, geographical differentiations. Those are the ones that don't matter.
I need you to confirm one other thought that I observed one place. And these are two, in the midst of all these people that gathered, there was a presentation of Kolanut, and everybody in the room knew that one person there, it's real in deep animosity with another. And this Kolanut was supposed to pass from one of their hands to the other. They didn't bring the Kolanut. Somebody else is presenting the Kolanut to the gathering. But they are supposed to sell or no, One thing that made me happy was that no matter how they were at loggerheads with each other, they wouldn't even, say hello to each other, but they were able to pass the Kolanut accordingly. And that touched my heart because, again, the Kolanut, they say, brings peace, which I thought maybe after that presentation, the animosity will go away, but not necessarily. But with Igbo, the Igbo culture at play or display with that selling of Kolanut, it passed in the hands of supposedly, in quotes, enemies, but who held the culture going. Do you find that strange?
No, the Kolanut is an instrument of unity, love, common brotherhood, common destiny.
No matter how at loggerheads one is with the other.
Yes, and that is why if you are at solid loggerhead, you don't break Kolanut with anybody, and everybody can see then that you cannot even eat together. So when the Kolanut is introduced, if by mistake you accept, you have opened the way for further negotiation, showing that within your heart, you are not as estranged as was being conceived from outside you. Then that gives room for negotiation. People will be happy. It sends a message.
Awesome. Oh, wow.
That's why I said Kolanut talks. Mute Kolanut. The Kolanut that is not talking is not good. It's a mistake. You don't carry Kolanut guru from your seat to another person without saying anything. Yeah, the Kolanut is dumb. It's not talking.
I hear you. And that brings me to the other question that I have. Sorry, I'm bombarding you with all these questions, but
no, that's all right. It shows how much
it brings out the answers. Yeah.
Some other ladies of their age may not ask 1/4 of the number of questions you're asking. You're asking because you know.
I don't know it all, but I just see, I observe a lot when I go to gatherings and I ask a lot of questions.
And asking questions, you learn.
Yes. One of the other ones, especially with the new titled people, you have a presentation of Kolanuts that are not many. Like you said, Ojibo, it's few and far between. We have a lot of warriors, but the titled ones, they call on them. Are there chiefs here? Are there, titled people here? Come and take, and they come and take one each. And by the time they take one each, there's a few left for the rest of Agasa meeting, like we call them. Is that a part of our tradition of everybody taking one full, instead of breaking them into lobes?
It is part of our tradition to respect elders, titled men. Like my father was an Ojo Nzokbo.
Okay.
When he died, he was buried in a sitting position.
Oh.
As a mark of honor, even with the dead, when he goes down there, he carries that title down. And all his children are also titled because the father has attained that level. He's inherited some of those titles or honors that are inherited. What I'm trying to say is that the aspect of respecting people was always there in Igboland. Therefore, it's not a new introduction. But what happens that they are now, they have, if you may choose that word, people are saying bastardizing titleship. When Okonkwo wrote Things Fall Apart and said that titles were given by people with solid merits in the community, there were very few who would be wrestlers, strong farmers with many bars that have become SAG, so many wives with children. There weren't many. You wouldn't have three in a village like that. Like Iroko tree, only one can grow in a small bush. You can't have the whole bush filled with Irokos, even though Iroko is very good. So now there weren't many titled people as you had now. Everybody answering that. And look around and see the person that is saying is a chief. And this tendency of our people, after some years, they stopped answering chief and started putting high chief. Then people have already not used the high chief. They're now calling multiple chief. These people are bastardizing our culture.
We're gonna talk about that in another. I have somebody scheduled for that to talk about. That is really growing, and we were talking about it the other day. Like, okay, what is the next hierarchy of that? Because we've
that
got
makes
into
no
high
sense
chief.
about that. Yeah, that is terrible.
It's not.
But you can't tell them that, and they will not listen.
There must be a reason why they are looking, to go higher and higher, and to know that chieftaincy titles weren't, they weren't what they used to be during our forefathers'
Your
times.
husband got his chieftaincy from his father, and there were few that had fathers that were easy. So now he's not a high chief. Does it mean that these younger ones that are three high chief now are superior to him? No, that's an embarrassment.
He doesn't even answer that most of the time. But one thing I would add is that for my father-in-law, the then is a Cletus Operaji, before he could place that title on your head, you must have done something for the community. His son, before he was able to get that, he made sure he did something for things for his community, not for him. He never asked for anything. And he will give that chieftaincy to people, even from other communities. I remember somebody from another state, because of what the person did for Amuzi, helping develop the neighborhood. Yes.
Yes, you target it, achieve it.
Yes.
Pursue it as something important, not commonplace.
Yes. Well, we digress. Let's focus on Oji. And the question next I have for you, because we have so many things to talk about in Igboland that is mind-boggling, and I keep getting a whole lot of requests from people on topics that I wish I had time. I'm still a fully employed human being.
I don't know what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful job for posterity.
Thank you, sir.
Now, a compendium of information that was there some 10 years ago.
Thank you, sir. Let me, before I forget now, focus a little bit on women. Somebody called my attention the other day when Mbaise USA, and I call it spade a spade. That's why I get in trouble sometimes, because I don't talk behind people. I tell them what I see in their faces. When
there is this American, they say, wanted people to get to holy trouble or useful trouble. Get into trouble at times.
No, I don't know, but I ask questions, and then I know sometimes what's right or what's wrong. But when Mbaise USA had the last convention in 2025 convention in Minnesota, where you have the elders, Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu at the table got up to greet the people, but was saying, when her people go and her, and our fellow Mbaise people were saying, yeah, we should know better that women don't use that chorus. I don't know if I am wrong, but two people pointed that out to me. Like, okay, you're talking about culture, talk about that. I know this is not orgy, but where we have that kind of thing, which echoes with orgy, and what follows it will be when you have people, even chiefs, women now crown chiefs, since we ventured into that area, should they even be part of the orgy selling? But could you talk to that, please?
Yeah, orgy is never presented formally to women in our culture.
Okay.
They had their function, which you read from one of those who looked at the manuscript, Dr. Bebulem,
Yes.
that I presented the case of women very well.
Yes.
In those days, women not coming to take part in Kolanut celebration was part of a way of protecting them. He said more people that visited were coming for trouble than those who came for peace. Strangers can embark on a war to kill a very important warrior in another village openly in the daytime to make sure that they weaken the other part before they start the real war. If you are the woman, there should be one of the first victims they will carry away.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, women weren't seen by elders as instruments of demonstration, show beauty. Show them so much, they take them away from you and kill you. Then you end their advertisement of women. So the idea of a woman saying Bokwen and taking part, nobody presented Kolanut to women. It was not done. Even if they get their titles. Earlier than now, during my father's time, of course, no woman got a title. Are you getting a title as a warrior of what or what? There was no title for women.
But now they're giving them chieftaincy now.
The only title they got was if they got many children, a boy or if she's doing very well in the husband's house, they call her Riako. It gave her a praise name, not a title. Sit down.
Nowadays, they are also answering Odoziako and Obadako, not only Oriako.
Iriako. That's not an achievement. Now they're calling them Odoziako. That was a correction. That was used to correct the earlier one, Oriako.
Yes, because nowadays, that by then they used to be those who cook the pork, but now they also go out to pursue the pig, to kill the pig, and then come up to fry the pork. So
you see,
anyway.
they have to. Those of you who are looking at titles. No, it's not your duty. You cannot be doing two things. Some people should start looking at the speed with which the confused men and women are dismantling our cultural institutions. It won't help them. It's reducing our respect from outside.
That's true. And that's why I mentioned that Igbokwenu thing going on during the
can you imagine
festival.
Jumping up because she's at the high table saying Igbokwenu.
This is
even all men had no right to do it. It is men known to be able to lead wars, battles, recognize warriors, powerful people who could pull out their dress after an Igbo queen and wrestle down a man who is making noise and go back to his seat. Not a woman.
That's
because
true. Well,
wrestling wasn't organized always formally. If a man talked too hard to you, you say, let's wrestle. Pull out your dress immediately, he pulls out. And before you know it, one has thrown the other, and the one that is thrown down is silenced. Decided on the spot. Not a question of talking because you go home and get those who help you. What can you do there to defend everybody?
Well,
that was the original rule of the thumb, original approach.
Well, I digressed a little bit there because somebody mentioned, I wanted to mention that it's not a blame on.
Help to explain things too.
I don't blame her. Maybe that's what is done in her area. But when you are Mbaise soil, and I'm saying this so that we will learn, because maybe our people there didn't learn. Even if she did that, you guys may not have, responded,
Responded.
and then
What
after which you
what they
also
do is
correct.
not to respond
Yes.
to that thing.
Yes, and then
The
also
woman comes up
correct.
near me and says Igbo, I will not respond.
Yes, and at the same time you correct, like, okay, thank you for doing, but we don't do that in Mbaise, on Mbaise soil, so that people will know. And
Yeah.
the way to correct things, to move forward with your tradition, is to correct people who um, create a faux pas on that.
That was
Having
why in
said
the
that,
past, in the olden days, an Mbaise man would be proud of his daughter or sister or nephew that was married somewhere. It's like betting. You'll come
yeah,
out with a good wife. We
that's
train our
true.
children not to become arrogant unnecessarily.
Okay, our session is running really long. Let me ask you one more question, and I promise you, I love the depth of their knowledge, and I will tap into it. Like I said to somebody, or people, this is YouTube, and the least we can do for you guys who strive to, teach us the culture. We keep your voices alive. We keep your knowledge alive by putting them out there as your legacies. And I promise to do that in continuation of this. The question I have for you, and so we can round up in the next few minutes. If, for example, during Jimbinse, coming up on August 15th, as usual, is the biggest yam festival in this part of Nigeria, the southeast. As far as we know, no other people have that. And people clamor to come. It could be titled men in other regions, in other tribes. Maybe we have had people from the north, from the west, who are really big in their titles coming down. How does the Oji get handed to them? Is it when we say, oh, when Kaduna not here, or Guausa not here, and there are two of them, then that's when they touch the Kolanut, because that's not their custom? Or do we respect their title to show them Kolanuts after the 5 community heads? Does that make
As I
sense?
said,
Yeah.
as I said that could not travel geographically,
Okay.
you would have shown it or passed it around the natives, the
Okay,
people
fast.
from the state where it is taking place.
Okay.
By the time they wanted to return it, that it is on his job,
Mm-hmm.
each time I run chairman an occasion, what I do, which I think people should also do, is at that point, you call on people from outside the state
Mm.
who may not even know what we are doing, passing the call all around. You hold it in your hand by calling them area and area. You say,
Okay.
you are now ready to consecrate, pray for everybody that is here. They here from a different place are recognized as our guests or in-laws or friends. They are going to get a share from our prayers.
Okay.
They should look at the color in your hand as a word that the color has reached them. Because if you give it to them, they won't know what to do by the time you hand it to them. Somebody,
Yeah.
I have a man who picked a color not when it was good. They said, no, 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 no. He said they
Yeah.
gave it to me and
You
he
don't
was
blame
coming.
them.
So you don't
You
blame
don't do
them.
that.
So you
Yes.
have to slowly involve them in what they are doing by explaining that you are representing their present, holding it in your hand, call his name, tell people who he is. And as many of them as from outside, you do them like that, they will go home and say, these people are wonderful.
Yes.
You don't suddenly hand it to them when they don't know what they are doing. They will create a fun out of it.
And even if they are
They
Igbo.
even if they are able, they may not know. They call their name wherever they are, ask them whether they are seeing the call or not. That's our routine, to involve them
Yes.
in what they are doing. They are getting the blessing, and we welcome them. A short welcome address to them, one by one.
And and
Then
and in the case,
when they go away, they feel very happy that even their presence was recognized from the high table.
So even if we have somebody like we invite the governor of Imo State, not because he's the governor, because Mbaise people have to be the custodian of their own kola nut and direct accordingly. They don't give the
Yes.
kola nut to him because he's the governor. We still
No.
sell our kola nut accordingly.
As
I
we do
think
it
we,
at the end,
yes.
you call his
Okay.
attention that we're welcoming him as somebody that what he has just seen done is
Mm,
our culture, recognizing all our neighbors, our brothers, kids and kin. And
yes.
together with everybody, we are also welcoming him.
Yes. Okay. I got that
Because in
because
my
now
book,
it doesn't
I
matter
said
whether we
that,
love him or hate him. Yes.
yes, in my
It
book,
has
I
to be
said that
done.
a kolanut can be given to an individual or group of people, or from many people to one person, or from one person to many people. It's all a element of hospitality.
Yes, sir.
Some may be
So,
happy end with the ceremony of kolanut and feel that everything was done perfectly well. Their presence was recognized without eating.
awesome.
But may give some people some food. But when that kolanut was being passed, nobody mentioned them. They said they were treated silently as if they
Oh,
were not there. They
I
feel
see.
annoyed. So
I see.
the kolanut is used to introduce people, used to bless people, used also to show relationship, create peace and unity and love of each other.
Awesome. In that note, we are understanding and respecting the traditional customs surrounding the kola nut. And we have to have at the back of our mind that it's crucial to maintain this cultural significance among the Igbo people. And last but not the least, we always present the scholar in the midst of people who are non-Igbo speaking or people who are, non-Igbo speaking. And we say, we're going to sell the kola nut now in Igbo or present the kola nut in Igbo because Igbo does not understand English. Does that really help others understand our our culture when we dabble into just Igbo? What do you say to that?
Yes, that is one of those areas where we are going to do some modifications. As I said, that my father would think that all we're doing is wrong because we're using Goro. But
Mm,
if you don't use Goro, you may not even have any color not to present
okay.
nowadays. So I wouldn't agree. He's not here to debate it with me. The
Mm,
time he was saying this, they didn't even have visitors from Kaduna. There was no chance of a visitor
yes.
coming
Yes.
from Kaduna to enable other things they're saying. Now that we're expanding internationally,
Mm,
we cannot invite a quarter of the population are white people, and they are celebrating Kolanut in Igbo because Kolanut doesn't understand English. They wonder whether they are so stupid. What are you people doing? So people have to learn how to get their visitors involved. Training a
yeah,
Kolanut to understand English because already you're living in an English people with English people. So these
that
are
is so
areas where
true.
amendment become crucial and very important.
I remember you when you say that something flew into my mind. I remember one of our Reverend Fathers from Mazi, Father Sebastian, doing anniversary in Boston. And we traveled to be with him, and there was presentation of kola nut. And in his parish, mostly white people, Caucasian, and some people who have no idea of our tradition. So Prof was asked to present that, Professor M.OPARAOJI, and as he was doing that, three or four people in our midst, the ones who are Caucasian, picked up their cell phones and started Googling. And you can't believe the number of questions that were flying out about the colonut during, a little bit after. And that was what came to my mind and say, if we were explaining this in English as we go or as we went, Not at this particular occasion, but I've seen that severally, that after we presented this in Igbo, they don't know what happens or what happened. They ask so many questions, and maybe we should rethink our use of our language to sociology. We could do that, but then translate that or use both languages as we do that. I think that's my thought. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
as we move on trying to retain our culture, we necessarily should also include the need to modernize, that is, remove original traditional practices that excluded everybody's participation in the Kolanut. If you
yes.
look at the cover picture of my book on Kolanut, it's
Mhm.
a map of Africa, which I put there, showing
Yes.
that the culture I'm describing is all over Africa. I showed various pictures of people presenting Kolanut carrying.
Yes.
I remember somebody criticized, an important fellow criticized a book that he saw me shaking hands with a white man in the center. That's what spoiled the book. He never had the simplicity or, can I say, common sense to come and ask me, why did you do that if it is offending him? But the real idea is, I said in my write-up on that amidst the composite display is the author shaking hands with his friend, Fred Russell, over
Yes.
a bunch of Kolanos. The picture seems to say to shake hands is good, but to break Kolanut together is better. And
There you go.
a fantastic gesture of mutual goodwill. The
I
book
think
is
we're
an
gonna.
invitation. Yes,
Yes, I said we're gonna go. That's one of. I promise you that we're gonna talk about your book next session or another
Okay,
session, because
okay,
I really want we have a copy and we went through that, and I see
okay,
that it has diverse aspects that everybody. And please, if you are listening to this podcast, that's the reason why I put the title there. You can,
okay.
it's on Amazon, it's everywhere there are books, and these are some of the books that you should put in your library at home for your children to pick up
And
and read.
take time to
Yes,
study, yes.
yes, during summer like this, that's where my dad used to make us read all types of all these books,
That was
and
wonderful.
so
That is so
they,
good.
when you say I'm interested in our culture, I give my dad the kudos for that, and my mom. And then I was sharing the thoughts about a young lady who became a catechist for me growing up and introduced me to all this, including culture of dancing on the street, cultural dance. So I urge you all to please pick up this book so that when we discuss African Kolanut custom as a book, you will come knowledgeable on what Dr. Amam Acholonu was trying to share with us in his depth of rich knowledge of culture. As we round
Yeah,
up
and also
today,
I
go
will
ahead, sir.
request you when we meet again, we go
Yes,
through these topics in full. Like mishandling kola nut, I can tell you up to 10 methods it's mishandled.
yes,
We have talked just about a couple or something like that because
yes,
we want to go straight into our topic. So as
yes,
we go, whenever we summarize, I'll tell you like mishandling, involving
yes,
hand, involving the way it is presented, involving like presenting kola nut when people are dead at the ceremony of death,
yes.
funerals. It's not done and all that. You did see
That
the
that
reason
that
why.
is that's a good one. That's why I said we come back, because the other day when I wrote about Ise, I wanted people to have an idea that's one of the traditions of Mbaise. But then what surrounds the dead, we haven't even touched at all. And people have asked about that. We may not change much, but like you said, Kolanut is being broken during funerals.
Yes.
It depends on who you ask,
Yes.
But what is the right thing to do? We don't know. Some people don't know. Some know, some don't.
Yes.
So it's something that we're going to talk about. I promise you that we'll go back to that. But
All right.
in summary, today, Dr. Amam Acholonu, I call him Dede, has, stressed the point that we should, especially the farmers out there in Mbaise or Igboland in general, farmers, please focus more also on, planting ojibo trees to produce more ojibo, because I think, according to him, is going to get in extinct of that. And the above notion is that Kolanut is a sacred nut, according to him, and must be handled with full respect. And we can't thank him enough for coming in today. And we'll continue this conversation soon. Thank you so much, Dedem, Dr.
Thank
Amam
you.
Acholonu, for venturing in. And
Thank you.
we thank you so much. And for everybody, keep listening. Get everybody else to listen in. It's free for you on YouTube. Subscribe if you can as well. We are all in this together. If we don't want our culture to die, we must start handling it neatly, and it's supposed to be done correctly to the generation next, or else we are losing everything. It's not just enough to ask them to speak Igbo. We are doing well with the foods. We are doing well with everything else. Let's continue to do so in all aspects of Igbo culture. Thank you all for listening. This is your hostess, Dr. Maslin and M.OPARAOJI, saying thank you. And thank you so much, sir. I'll see you next time. Dr.
Thank you.
Amam Acholonu. Bye-bye.